so last time I was talking to your brother,
Yep.
and we were talking about the Adelia game available on your website. Have you guys played this?
I'm really bad at it, so I give up all the time quickly. But yeah, I've played it, but I'm not good at it.
We have ADD and impatience problems, so
Yeah.
we're like, oh, cool, and then we try for 2 seconds, and we're on to the next thing.
And after that, like people at our merch booth when we're hanging out are always like, I got to this part of this level, and I'm like, yeah, I haven't even. The time runs out before I figure out how to move the girl. So
Yeah. I spent a lot of time like doing the designing part. I didn't design the game or anything, but all the characters and all that.
Oh, yeah?
By the time it was done.
That's nice. How far did you guys get? Like, did you get to the third level at least?
No.
No?
the wolves killed me.
Yeah.
That's me too, man. Oh, man. Okay. Well, about your album, after a quick listen to Addicts, you quickly realize that your sound is all over the place. How does this not hinder you guys, like, as a band?
I think, well, just to start, you know what I mean? Instead of being something that hindered us, you know, I think it was something that we felt like we were kind of supposed to do, you know? Like, we always had a tendency, like, you know, to experiment with a lot of electronic things and a lot of different types of music. And on the first record, we kind of only used the things that I think were more like, you know, pop, rocky, you know, like kind of punk-oriented beats and things like that, and left some of those things out, which, you know, we love our first record, but it was kind of like, we felt like we could have maybe done a little bit more, like been a little bit more prolific than we were, in our opinions, you know? So the second record was an opportunity to expand on all the things that we felt like we could have do that maybe we didn't do the first time, you know?
It's a tricky thing because, particularly in America, I think people just love labels and they love boxes. You put something in there so they can understand it and so they can decide for themselves if they want to identify with it, and then, you know, subsequently inherit all of like the characteristics and traits that come along with subscribing to that thing. You know what I mean? So I think it's hindered us maybe a little bit because we're in this sort of gray area. We're not this mainstream rock band, but we're not a scene band. We're sort of on the periphery. But that's just like where the chips fell, because in our minds, the only thing we can do as artists is be honest and write the music that we're passionate about and that moves us, and that's what we did. So however the world perceives it, we can't be too hung up on that, you know?
And it was important to just do what we felt like we should do as musicians, you know? Because again, being the first time heading in that other direction a little bit, as reviews came out for the record and people were writing, you know, press reviews and things, it was like, emo pop punk band Madina Lake, and we were like, really?
Yeah. You guys
is
hate
that what we
label.
are? Yeah, kind of. I mean, you know, it's
Well,
not
we just never listened to that music.
yeah.
So,
I mean, it's okay. It's popular and trendy, especially in like Warped Tour crowds and things. But yeah, we never thought that we were that kind of band, and all of a sudden, that's the category that we were being lumped into, and it was kind of bizarre for us.
It's funny because that you bring it up, because in like the press in England would say what's so appealing about Madina Lake is that they don't sound like anyone else, and the press in America would say what's so unappealing about Madina Lake is that they don't sound like anyone else.
Yeah.
You know. So
yeah, I mean, there's going to be
have it.
good and bad no matter what. So I think that's a lesson we learned after the first record. Is like, you know, if you try to be like one certain thing, it's not going to get you anywhere any more than being honest. You know, so like he said, the most important thing is just do whatever we want, and the press is going to be polarized either way. I feel like regardless.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So being true to yourself is the most fulfilling thing. You know?
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, like, I've heard a lot of musicians debate on that subject, because I know a lot of people want to make a whole album that's maybe one jazz song, then a new metal song, and then like some new metal jazz fusion or something.
Yeah.
But I've heard other people say that, like, you know, you can't do that because you gotta have, not like every song sound the same, but you know,
have to have
gotta
it cohesive. Or something.
Yeah, something along those lines. So, yeah, well, I guess being true to yourself is probably the best way. It seems to be working for you guys.
Oh,
Thanks. Thanks.
Okay, well, have you guys had any time off to write?
No, not really. Since we started the album cycle, which I think was in January, it was up in Canada with Anne Berlin, we haven't really had any breaks. So, yeah, nothing yet.
Yeah, hopefully sometime soon. But I think the way we write too is a little bit more complicated than a lot of bands, which maybe it's kind of a pain, to be honest. But you know, like, we're not the kind of guys that just grab an acoustic guitar and like sing around a campfire. You know what I mean? We set up our whole rehearsal studio, and our guitar player Mateo writes like a lot of loops and stuff like that on Reason, and then we come in and we jam them out and play like that. And unless we're in that environment, we don't tend to really come up with new songs. So it kind of requires us to have some time off, or at least be able to set something up in a hotel room or something like that. And we haven't really had a chance to do that yet.
Right.
Cool. Are you guys planning any more music videos?
Yeah, we shot a video for our next single, which is called Let's Get Out of Here.
Okay.
We shot it in England, and I think that it premiered over there already, but before we were going to like radio or video or whatever in the States, they wanted to reshoot the sort of narrative part of it. So they tweaked it, and I think it's a lot better now. It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's kind of cool having two versions of the same video too. You know what I mean? Which is kind of bizarre because it's a different world over there. You know what I mean? Like they're everything about what they, what's popular and humorous, and it's kind of like a different culture. So it's the same kind of performance things that we did, but like you said, different narratives. So the American version or whatever should be out. I don't know when that comes out actually. But
are you gonna air both though?
Well, in the UK one, and then the States the other.
But I'm sure if you like looked it up, you could see both of them,
on YouTube or something.
Cool. Yeah.
Is the American version like dumbed down or something?
It's actually
you would think
you'd think so too.
More sense.
You know what it is though, to go along with what you said. Sorry, or what?
No worries.
Looking at you,
Mark likes to steal the line.
It does reflect, I think, American culture versus British culture. The British one is the edits are longer. If that makes any sense, and like slower, and there's less people in it. And the American one is a lot more people and a lot faster. You know what I mean? I think to reflect the shorter attention span that we have in the United States. You know what I mean? So it's cool. It's a great video, but yeah, you could definitely see where it would kind of differ.
Don't worry, that actually didn't affect it. This is like an $8 Radio Shack mic. It's not even attached to the camera.
The cord's just running right down there.
No, it's just in my pocket.
Okay.
So how have the kids been reacting on Warped Tour this year?
Man, a lot better than we sort of anticipated. It's been cool. The Ernie Ball stage is pretty far removed from a lot of foot traffic, so people at that stage, you don't have like the luxury of, those two stages that are next to each other. You get a lot of fans that are there to see another band that happen to see your band, so you have an opportunity there. And our stage, it's a little different because it's out of the way, so people in front of you put it on their calendar that they wanted to see your set.
Yeah.
So we were a little nervous about that. On the West Coast was a little slow, but now it's been fantastic, so we're happy about it.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Because I remember last time you guys came here, it was in the pouring rain.
Yeah.
And you took a spill.
I sure did.
And you didn't do that this time.
That's because I was wearing my unlucky shoes last time.
Okay.
And I took them off and put these old fellas on today. So
nice. So are these the lucky ones?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, they're
just
not
the one that
unlucky
fits.
ones. Shoe fits are too big. That's why I got it stuck.
Blame it on the shoes.
Yeah.
Blame it on the shoes.
Yeah, not my retardation.
For those of you that didn't see it, it was classic. I don't know if you can find it online. I tried for a while and I couldn't find it.
I don't
it was
think
like
so.
It was like a 2-minute fall. Like the ones where like you trip on something, stumble on something else, knock into something, like knocking over mic stands and everything. It was classic.
And it wasn't like cool.
No, because he ended up with both
legs
straight up in the air on his back, which was awesome.
And all 3 of these guys were looking at me like, you asshole.
Yeah, it sucks because you're trying to rock out, but everyone else is just pointing and laughing at the guy who fell, so it's kind of weird.
But we overcame. Sorry, Toronto.
Oh, well, you put on a great show this year, as always.
Thank you.
And I look forward to seeing you guys more in the future.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah, man. Thank you
so
very much.
Always a pleasure to talk to you. Thanks for having us.
Yeah.